Yeah,
Hi, this
got
is
it.
Heath Criswell with the Prospect Times, and Jeff Hewitt joins me. This is our first video podcast, so bear with us because there's definitely going to be some growing pains that come along with this. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, pretty good. I can't complain. So I wanted to, obviously the Rule 5 draft is going to be coming up in December, but I thought it would be good to, kind of discuss who the Rangers who's eligible basically and who they're going to protect, who we think they're going to protect. So we've got
Okay.
what, six roster spots open right now. They've got the 40 man at what, 34 spots with the moves that
Uh-huh.
they made. Was it yesterday? Kind of getting my days mixed up here, Jeff.
Yes, it was
Um,
yesterday. Yep.
yeah, I believe it was yesterday. So we're now at 34 for the 40 man. So they're going to have to protect any of the Rule 5 eligible players by the 15th of November.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got 4 days to get those players protected. So I guess we'll start with,
And we got nine. And we got nine on our list.
well,
So
I mean, really, there's definitely more than that, but
there's definitely
it's
more.
the
Yeah.
question is who do you protect, and I think you've clearly got to start with with the top
Your top
prospects.
30, your
Yeah,
top
you
30 prospects.
absolutely, yeah, and there's quite a few on the top 30 list, so we'll definitely
Yes.
go over those as well. So, I guess we'll start off with who all is eligible for the Rule
Okay.
5 draft.
The number four prospect, Owen White. So, and he's 23 years old. He's not. He went 9-2, 3-0 in Frisco. Great ERA, 3.52 altogether. 80 innings, 104 strikeouts, 23 walks.
Oh, and why? There's no doubt that you protect him. I think at this point he's our number one pitching prospect. We cannot, you cannot take a risk of losing him. In my
We
opinion,
can't afford to
no,
we
no
can't afford to
doubt,
lose any
one hundred
quality.
percent add him on. So yeah, there's definitely no question. I think with me, I guess we'll name the guys first, and then we can
Okay,
kind of go to
maybe
see
that's
who
fine.
we would protect because I know a lot of people. The top was it nine? You said
Uh-huh.
yeah. So go ahead and list those guys. Do you have the list
Okay.
in front of you?
Uh-huh. I sure do. You got the seventh prospect, Los Angel Acuna. Number nine prospect, Dustin Harris. Number 10 prospect, Cole Winn. Number 13 is Kelly. I can't remember Antonio or is
Antoine.
it Antoine? Okay, Kelly. Um, 21, Jonathan Arenas. 23, Avery Wins. 24, Zach Kent. And 29, Mason Eager. That's
So for me,
that's the
the
ones.
the I know on my list of guys that I had to protect, at least initially, I wasn't thinking that the Rangers were going to clear, I guess, as many spots that they did. So I definitely have Cole Winn, uh, not really in any particular order, but Cole Winn, Zach Kent, Dustin Harris, Acuna, and then Jonathan Ornelas. I have them as adding those guys. Now, with the position players, I think you could argue that maybe a team doesn't necessarily, take a chance on those guys, but I feel like with the three that I listed and Dustin Harris, Luis Angel Acuna, and then Jonathan Ornelas, I feel like a team could take a chance on those guys. So that's definitely the five that I hope that the Rangers add on because I feel like they could lose any one of those guys. What about you? What do
Mhm.
you think on that?
Well, the problem, I agree on every one of them. Dustin Harris, he's going to be Oakland would take him back in a heartbeat because that's who he came from, Oakland. And I think they were desperate need for youth, and I think they would snatch him up in a heartbeat. And all the other pitchers, I mean, I agree, but I'm gonna be biased because being
Well,
an
there's
Aggie.
nothing wrong with
Um,
that. I'm
I
biased
mean,
too.
Eager. I
It,
mean,
yeah.
Eager. I mean, he's from Fernie, and so that's I don't know how what 30 miles from Frisco.
Yeah, it's not far. It's pretty local.
Um,
I believe, don't get me lying to you, but yeah, it's pretty close.
so he's. I mean, he just homegrown. He has two ACL injuries already done. I mean, he had both surgeries already. One when he first came out of or when he first got drafted, and then 2 years ago he had it again. So his arm should be healthy. But no, as far as all the other choices, I
Well,
agree.
I almost feel like though, as far as Englert goes, and I'm not disagreeing, obviously all of these guys are talented. Would a team with the two surgeries, would a team take a chance? I mean, I think that alone in and of itself might scare teams away. But then again, it can be easy to hide these guys in a bullpen as well.
Hmm. I mean, you can't forget two no hitters, even though it was high A ball. But you just can't back then.
Well, it
You
was the
can't forget
combined no
it was
hitters.
combined no
Yeah,
hitters, but he threw the most of the innings of
right,
the combined
right.
no hitters. So it's just you just somebody has notes, and I think he would be very snackable to take up. But it, we're just in a pickle because trying to figure out, okay, who you gonna leave off? Who are you gonna try to sneak through the draft? Who you gonna? I mean, real.
Well, that's where it does become tricky. I mean, I'm not I'm definitely glad that I'm not, you know,
Making decisions.
well, yeah, absolutely, because it is tough for these guys. We risk losing probably someone that could be on someone's favorite, prospect list. I
That's why Chris
really
Young,
think,
Chris Young, I think can really. I think Chris Young is perfect for this, as far as he knows ins and outs. He knows what
yeah,
the.
we're about to see. I mean, to be honest with you, every move he's made so far, I, not once have I really had a complaint, to be honest.
Not one bit. Not one bit.
I mean, especially, me and you were talking just a few days ago, with the guys that they should drop. And literally the next day, they dropped
Somebody
all
read our mind.
those guys. And again, there's still a couple of moves that could probably be made
Yeah.
right now, I think. But so going, let me ask you, because Cody Bradford is also Rule-5 eligible. And the beginning of the season started off pretty rough for him, just as it did with pretty much every other pitcher except Cole Reagans um, in Frisco. He really turned it on and had an excellent second half, which I feel like really could carry over, and actually shows his true talent in my opinion. Now he doesn't
Yeah,
get
I
up
agree.
to 97, 98. He doesn't throw hard. But what do you think about him?
I I don't have a problem with him. I think hmm, I think he could sneak by because his age is a little bit up there. I mean, as far as protecting your 40-man roster, but um, the problem with it, San Diego has Peeler, who was Rangers farm director, and then Minnesota has one. And they know inside out of the Rangers. Now you just got John Daniels going to the Rays. Did you see that today?
I did see that. Yeah.
So
I
don't know what he's going to be up to.
yeah.
He would love to, snatch a couple of players and
And
he
he very
could
well
easily.
might. I mean, he's the one that was in charge here when those guys were
Yeah.
drafted too, and he knows all about them. You're definitely
Mm-hmm.
not going to get. I mean, really, every team does, but yeah, you're right now, especially with him being in Tampa. I
And
mean,
I
for teams
just
to
saw that
be
not
able to
long ago
select a
too.
player, I mean, they've got to have the roster spots available on their 40
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah.
some teams won't pick any. So, but some teams will, I think, especially when it comes to the Rangers, with I mean, all these guys, in the top 30. I mean, it's I mean, I feel like they really gotta protect
Well,
at least five of these guys. And I could even argue adding Zach Kent. Did I
yeah.
mention him? I think I may have
You
mentioned him, did
I
I
think
not?
Owen White. Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So yeah, Zach Kent, uh, yeah, I feel like he needs to be added in there. Throws, mid to upper 90s. I think up to 99, I think is, what he's hit before. But, again, he had an excellent second half. And
He's got great
um,
control.
yeah, when he went to AAA, I think the walks increased by like one walk every 9 innings, but all
Yep.
the other numbers were a little bit better, I believe. So
Yep. They definitely are.
he's definitely one that another team could take a chance on, and again, hide these pitchers in the bullpen, because
But
you can control, when you bring them into the game, really.
but how do we see? This is the funny part. But here we are talking about our Rangers, but we don't know the Yankees. I mean, there's other prospects too. So we could be able to.
Yeah, I mean,
We
they're
may not have any of these. We may not even have any of these picks. I mean, look who won the World Series. That team
oh,
right down the road.
yeah,
I
we're going to
mean,
protect some of these guys. It's just a
yeah.
question
Oh
of
yeah, we're
who,
going to. But I don't think as far as they're going to be snatched up behind us. I mean, you never know.
yeah, it really is hard to predict, to be honest with you. I know that I want to say, I can't remember, was it, I really can't remember, but I do think when it was I'm struggling to think of his name. I think he played Michael DeLeon is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, yeah, the one we lost in the Rule-5 minor league draft last year.
Yeah, was it okay? See, I don't know why I struggled that hard to think of just last
It was
year,
him,
but
Villa. I can't think. He got snatched
Cole
up.
Uvila, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Him,
okay.
De Leon, and then one more person. I think I can't remember. But
That's
yeah,
right. Okay. So I mean, I thought that they, should have protected him, but I mean,
I agree.
I knew that he would probably not slip through. So we
Yeah,
would lose him, which I guess really, in the grand scheme of things, looking back on it, it didn't really hurt us because we could argue that we've got too many prospects, on this
yeah.
infield. So
Well, no, what the rule is. I mean, you draft a player, you have to keep him on the 25-man roster. So you can't sneak him. You can't give
well,
him
it's 20, is it 20?
it's 26. Sorry.
Six or yeah, something like that. I think it
I think,
increased by
and I
one or
think they
two.
get one player extra for double headers. But you have to keep him on the active roster. You can't disable him because he got a blister on his throwing finger the first what did we say 60 days I think it was or X amount of days while you
Yeah, it
were
was something. I definitely should have been better prepared. Better prepare for it was either
Nah,
60 or 90, one of the
yeah,
two.
and you can't sneak. I mean, you can't put them there. So
Yeah.
this is. I mean, so this is gonna be. I mean, it's a tough decision. I just glad we don't have to. We're not making this decisions.
Well, if I was, you know, the at least the five that I would
Yeah, yes,
select.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
So you're
But
in full agreement with that same five that I listed.
yes, I'm same agreement. But if we make two more moves that no, we're thinking they might make, if they do make them, that'll leave two more spots open.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
but of course
Igor.
you got to consider, like a free agent signing.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
problem is right now that I don't think the Rangers are going to make any additional uh, they're not going to outright another player right now. Otherwise they would have already done it, because
Right.
we're talking about 4 days from now. But after that, I mean, they could still make a trade or something. So we'll have to,
Well, you notice on their roster, everybody's off the DL now, so the DL is taking off every one of the players. So
yeah.
and they had to do that before. I think whatever the day is that you said that they had to make the
It's the
roster.
15th is
The
when
15th, yeah.
that's the
So
deadline to add these Rule 5 eligible players that you want to protect to the 40-man roster,
right,
so no
right.
other organization can pick them up.
Yep.
I mean, I guess the good news in all of this is that if someone does draft a player and it doesn't necessarily work out, they then offer them back to us. So I mean, at that point,
For $25,000.
right. Well,
Um,
I think in the major league portion, is it more than that?
I think it's 50. It's 50. It is 50,000. You're right. You're right. Because I think um, who was the player that Texas got from, and they tried to keep him, and they wound up trading him.
The only one that comes to mind as far as the Rangers in the Rule 5 recently was Carlos Tochi. Is that who you're
That's
talking
him.
about?
That's who I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
where
Yeah.
a lot of people thought that it was kind of a waste of a roster spot. I mean,
Right.
I see that, obviously they loved his speed and defense, but I mean, yeah, something like that, you definitely, yeah, you're right. It is 50,000. No, so for the club selecting the player, it is a
Hmm.
100,000. And
Right.
then if things don't work out, they want to offer them back, then it's 50,000 for the team
Right.
that receives the player back. So,
That
okay.
sounds good to me.
All right.
Uh, what do you
What
think
about,
about?
so, oh, go ahead.
No, good. Good.
I was just going to say, because, one of my favorites is Blaine Krim, um, who really just seems to kind of hit the heck of the ball, really at, every level that he's been at.
Hmm.
Um, I guess really is kind of limited defensively, so you're talking
DH.
about a DH possibly. So I really don't think that he's going to be someone that the Rangers will add, but I think that will be interesting to keep an eye on, to see if a team
Yeah.
would be willing to take a chance on
Yeah.
Krim.
Yeah. Um, what do you think? Now going back to my. What do you think about Andrews leaving or being not re-signed with the Rough Riders?
Oh yeah, Jeff Andrews, the pitching coach.
Hmm.
I think it's something where the Rangers know that we've got to hit on these pitching prospects.
The development.
We've really got to, I mean, if you take like the Astros model of things, I mean, they're so good at developing players, right? Um, and we've got to make sure, because to have a successful winning team, you've got to have a combination of good free agent signings, strong farm system, strong player development.
Mhm.
We've got players to trade, so we can get better that way, but you have to have the player development. Um, and I think, not to say that, Jeff wasn't good. But I think that the Rangers just really want to make sure that they go in the right direction, to kind of guide these players, and I guess get someone new in their ear as
New
far
blood
as
in
how
it.
they, give the news, the stats, and all these analytics and
You know,
things
it would
like
be
that.
awesome. What would be awesome if Chris Young go to Vanderbilt and hire Tim Corbin, the man or the coach of Vanderbilt Commodores, who was their
You know,
head coach of Leiter and Rocker. Wouldn't
I
that
don't,
be?
yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'd have anything against that. I,
He's not going to leave
you're not
Vanderbilt.
the first one that I've heard say that, though. I have heard other people mention that, but realistically, I don't know how realistic that would be. But
Yeah,
they have both Ladder and Rocker now, so, and I figure that Rocker's probably going to start, in Double-A too, would be my guess. I mean, they're going to want to challenge him as well. I'm kind of surprised at this point that we haven't heard, who the Rangers are hiring for their major league pitching coach. Um, I kind of
are they
figured
going to
that would
wait
be
till
one
the
of the
general
first
manager?
things, you
Are they
know.
going to wait for till Chris Young
No, they're
hire
not going to
the
hire a
person
general
that's below
manager.
him?
Yeah, they're not going to hire anyone this year, at least.
What about
So
the
that
Moore from Kansas City? I heard. I mean, he was a
No, that was just going to be
name
like an
in
advisory role.
advisor. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess they're still going through candidates, but hey, bring Mike Maddox back, or I can't remember the other guy's name that's been mentioned as well,
I can't think of his name either. But
Rigotti or something.
you were mentioning one time about why all the disrespect that the Rough Riders got, that they won the Texas League Championship and not their player was on the All Star team.
Not
I
one
mean,
single player.
how do you do that? I mean,
I
the
was
manager,
thinking, and I was, on that, because you're exactly right. I mean, you would think that there would have been at least one player, but I think the only player that sticks out to me that could have been named to the team would have been Jonathan Ornelas. I don't
yeah,
really see, Foscue kind of turned it on late, and then kind of didn't,
mm,
so I think Ornelas probably would have been the only one that really could have been named,
and he was there the
to
whole
the.
year.
Oh yeah,
He
he
was
was
there the
there the
whole
whole
year.
year, and
So
literally, he led the Texas League in hits with 157 hits, which tied the Rough Riders all time record, which is pretty. I kind of wanted to see him break it, to be honest with you, but one, just one extra hit. But I mean, he out hit everybody in the league, with hits, and
mhm.
so I was kind of surprised that he wasn't on there. But I mean, Jared Getter won Manager of the Year, which he should have.
Well, I mean, he should better have because
Got
I mean,
guided
he
the
did
Rough Riders to their,
right.
second championship, in team history. So
Yeah. So
I
what do
mean,
you
it
think?
definitely had the talent, but you still got to
Oh
manage them
yeah,
too,
up and all the way through the system,
Yep.
and uh, the the Express came within I think 4 games from getting in the playoffs, and they were shifting them from Texas League or from from Frisco to Round Rock. You had Young, you had Sam Huff, you had all the players there, and they just came from Frisco. So like that's I mean they almost made 2 teams in the playoffs do good, but not quite. Just wasn't
Yeah, I mean,
the Express year.
overall, I think, I mean, you could argue that maybe it was a down year for some of the pitchers, but for some of the other pitchers, it was a fantastic year. other than injuries. I'd say Owen Wyatt had a pretty strong year, minus the injury, of course,
Right.
that kept him out for quite a bit of time that had people worried.
Ryan Garcia is a name
Right.
that come out of nowhere. I mean,
He's
remember he was
also
a
Rule
second round
5
pick.
eligible too. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a no second round pick, and he had
Uh,
arm surgery, and then like, but he looked good. The few
he,
starts he did in Hickory.
yeah, yeah. He looked really good from what I had seen, So, and another one that's Rule 5 eligible. So, even though he's not, ranked in the top 30, I mean, just could be another one of those guys. You just never know. But the Rangers have way too many guys to add on. It's just not feasible to,
Right.
you really cannot protect all these players that you might want them to protect, Um,
Well,
and
look at the Rangers, the infield blocked all the way around from third to first blocked. The minor leaguers are blocked. So you got Young at third, you got Seager, Simeon, and you got Lowe. I mean that's pretty good.
that's a strong infield.
Good lineup.
And I think that Josh Young will probably hopefully push for rookie of the year
I
next
think
year.
it. I
The
think.
key will be to staying healthy. That's
Thank
that's
you.
always the key.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. Um, so what do you think about Bruce Bochy?
Really, what is there not to love about him being the Rangers manager? I really don't think I've heard one bad
2010,
thing. You know,
2010.
I mean, excluding that. I mean, I will say this though, with 2010, I that World Series doesn't give me the heartbreak. Even, going back to think about it, it doesn't give me the heartbreak that that obviously that maybe
We're not going to talk
we'll
about that.
keep that. So
We'll keep that under the.
yeah. Um, so that aside, I absolutely love it. I think he kind of automatically brings a winning attitude. Knows how to win, obviously. Someone that is highly respected, knows what he's doing, can manage a bullpen, which I think is probably one of the big things, is just managing the bullpen. Don't think that we're going to have as many like one run losses as we did this year, with you know with him being in charge. I think
Right.
it's an automatic, uh, almost an automatic winning record by
I
itself.
agree. I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree.
it, literally, he might not. If no other signings were made, and maybe just bottom of the line pitchers. Yeah, I still think he could get us to 500.
hmm Dave Righetti is the one that we were talking about. He was
Yes,
Bochy's pitching coach in 2010.
that's
So, and
right.
plus, Dave Righetti is a former Ranger, not long, but he was a former Ranger who was traded to the
I've
Yankees.
heard that name mentioned. Who was it that turned down a job? I think that was bench coach, though. So that was not for the pitching coach position. So it seems to be between Rigetti and Maddox then. And
Mm-hmm.
really, I wouldn't mind either one of those, to be honest with you.
Especially with our youth in the pitching.
Yeah.
Because you know how he's hands on, first putting his hand on their shoulder, telling them no, no, calm down,
Yeah,
breathe,
we all
all this.
remember that.
So
We all remember that and covering them out,
one person he didn't do it to was Cole Hamels.
Yeah,
Cole
that's
Hamels said
right.
no.
That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think about the Bruce Bochy hiring?
Oh, I love it. He brings a winning attitude. He brings depending on okay, Beasley's going to be third base coach. It depends on who's going to be his bench coach, who's going to be the infielders. Um, like I mean, it won't be Ron Washington, who's one of the best infield coaches in baseball, but somebody like him, not him personally, but somebody that can be hands on with your infielders. Because I feel that we had a lot of errors in the infield, and I mean, I think Rangers might have. I don't know if they did, but they were up there with
Well,
errors.
yeah, and I know that's something that's going to be cleaned up, guaranteed
It's got to be.
under
It's got
Bochy.
to be.
So
But
let's
I love the choice. I
yeah,
love
I
Detroit
don't know a Ranger fan
hands
that's
down. I mean,
yeah,
he's signing 4 year contract, so that's I mean that's man that's very I mean that's not bad. I mean to me,
3 year
so it's
contract.
3 year. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So
But hey, you never know. I mean, if that, when he wins the World Series in 2024, maybe they can work out an extension.
I
That's my
agree.
prediction. You heard it here first, 2024.
Hey, I'm right there with you. Now the fun one. What do you think about the free agency market?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was one of the Ranger fans, really one of the many that wanted Clayton Kershaw to just for once choose the Rangers.
What's the deal? I
With
guess he didn't want to come home.
Well,
Is
I
that
was going to say, I mean, I respect it. He's done
I
so
do too.
much with
I do too.
with the Dodgers. I mean, am I disappointed? Yeah, but I can certainly understand why. I think too, though, I kind of see it as will other players. I mean, I know that his decision isn't really going to, I guess, affect other players, but did it just tell him that the Rangers still weren't even close enough, or does he just not really want to play for any other team? I guess we don't really know, but I think we can definitely put it to bed that he's not going to be a Ranger.
No.
Like even though he signed a 1 year contract with the Dodgers, and even if he decides to pitch the following year, I just don't see him ever being a Ranger at this point.
Well, if you look at his baseball card, it's going to say Dodgers all the way through. It's not going to say 1 year with the Rangers. I mean, everything it's going to be LA Dodgers
Oh,
all
you're
the way through.
absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, most
You don't
definitely.
see that very often. You don't see that. Um, what was it? Wainwright and oh gosh, Molina
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
St. Louis. Yeah, look at theirs. There's, I
That's
mean,
right.
St.
Yeah.
Louis all the way. But
Give me a couple of
well,
free agents that you want the Rangers to sign.
19. I mean, Perez got to come down with some money. I mean, they gave him the qualifying
Okay.
offer in
So yeah,
19.5.
Perez is going to accept that qualifying offer. If he doesn't, I'd be surprised.
He
So
didn't.
we,
They said he didn't. He didn't accept it.
I didn't think anything's been announced on that, whether he's accepted or
Oh, okay.
declined it.
You're right. Maybe they just offered it to him, but
They've
then you
offered
guys
it. I
said,
don't think he's declined it.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. I'm sorry.
to me, it
I
would be
jumped the gun
hard
on
to decline a $15 million raise, for a
that.
season. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, uh, I mean, if you know that you're worth that, and or at least what he's asking that the Rangers aren't willing to budge on, accept that qualifying offer, prove it, and then work out another, multi-year extension. If not with the Rangers, with someone else at that point. Make your money then. But you're
Yeah.
making 19.65
19.5,
or something.
something
So
like
I mean
that. Yeah.
that's a lot of money. A lot of money
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah.
think he's gonna accept. So I say this in just assuming that he's still gonna be a Ranger. So give me besides Perez, who do you think they're gonna or who would you want them to sign?
Rodon from San Francisco.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think, but I mean, all these about the money. It's about the years that it has to come down to. That I can't see somebody up there in a little bit of age like DeGrom getting a 4 year. I can't because that 4 years. That's a long, especially with this
when
injury.
you when you consider that his his asking price is going to be, and he'll probably get it from somebody. It's just who. When you
Yeah.
consider his asking price to be in the $40 million range, that's a lot of money.
Okay.
While the Rangers have somewhat deep pockets, I just don't know that I want that kind of money committed to one player. You know what I mean? We've
Yeah.
kind of had that in the past. We've been there, done that. Um,
Sand Hill Park.
yeah, well, yeah,
Um, okay. What about Verlander?
I would be all for signing Verlander, to be honest. I actually sent that out today just as a poll to see who else, and it's kind of split 50-50. I don't know people's reasoning behind it. I don't know if it's age or that he's with the Astros or that they think, something, that he cheated because he was with the Astros. Who knows?
Right.
But
Right.
but to be honest with you, I don't know that anyone has aged as good as Justin Verlander has, even coming back from, his injury that
Hello,
he did.
Nolan Ryan.
No,
Thank
no,
you
no,
very
no.
much.
I'm saying of recent. Absolutely, yeah. Nolan Ryan, what 43 when he signed with the
Hmm.
Rangers. So
Yep.
absolutely, but Justin Verlander could be this generation's Nolan Ryan
Yeah.
as far as that goes. I would definitely consider Verlander. I think that he can guarantee you innings pitched that you might not necessarily get from, say, DeGrom. You know,
Right.
um, I know that he's older, but it probably would cost about the same. But I feel like you could get him for maybe 2 years rather than four or even a fifth that I've been hearing about. 5 years, I'm definitely out on DeGrom. I'm sorry. I know he's when he's healthy, he's the best, but that's just too much.
Yep. I agree. Um, Uvalde. He's from Alvin, so he would. I mean, it's a little bit further. I mean, it's 4 hours from Arlington, but still, that's. I mean, that's another person that. I mean, he went. He played at Boston. He was a Yankee, so he's used to the big time market. Now coming to Texas, I mean, I think
Yeah, he's
he's
definitely
another.
someone else that I'd consider just because we're running out of time here. I want to
Okay.
um, mention, I guess, a couple of other guys. So, like you said, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Eovaldi is one. I
Yep.
believe Chris Bassett is another I would
Hmm.
consider. So, I really kind of want the Rangers to. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would definitely love DeGrom, and if he's healthy, then it's going to look like the most brilliant signing ever, you know. But that's the gamble that you take.
Right.
If it's my money, I may not spend it on him, and I might have to just break it up. I feel like with Bruce Bochy and the right coaching, the right moves, with some of the prospects that are coming up, I feel like that could be a winning team. Even
Hmm.
if you sign the not necessarily the top tier aces, but your you know middle of the order starters. I
I
think
agree.
could serve well.
I agree. Well,
But
I
I think,
enjoyed this conversation.
yeah, I did too. I definitely appreciate you joining me.
I can't wait till the next one we get.
Do what?
I can't wait till the next time we do this.
Absolutely, which hopefully will be soon, maybe a week or so. We'll let you guys know, but appreciate you tuning in.